Hey guys, it's Caitlin Bea and welcome back to my channel. I just gotta start off by saying thank you to everyone who's been so patient with me about getting the third video in this skin series up. I know there's been a delay. I've talked about it a little bit on Instagram, but I thought I would address it here as well. So honestly, I just have not been feeling myself enough to film lately, and I made a promise to myself years ago that I would not film unless I truly wanted to, because I feel like that just translates if someone's not into it. It's weird to watch, you know what I mean? Like you get this weird vibe and you're like, I can tell. I just never want to do that to you and feel like it's a chore by any means. So thank you for everybody who has been so kind about the delay. There's a couple of you who are a little feisty in the DMs. I'm just trying to be gentle with myself and listen to my body and what I need, allowing myself that downtime and not feeling like I have to be on and productive 24/7, which I feel like there can be so much pressure to do so, especially from people on social media. So I feel like it's good to just kind of step away from the phone for, you know, a day if you need to, or even just an afternoon, and listen to your body, what you need, and don't feel like you have to be doing all of the things right now. But with that being said, I'm really excited to be back. I'm feeling good and ready to film today. So this is the third video in my skin clearing series. If you missed the first and second one, I will link them down below. I've created a playlist as well. But if you're new here, this series is all about how I've cleared my hormonal adult acne that started when I was about 22. So this series covers everything that I did, from my diet to supplements to intermittent fasting, all of the things that have really helped me clear and maintain my clear skin as well. So I will link those videos down below. I highly recommend starting from video 1. But I also wanted to make this series solely so that you can jump into any video that you want, just in case, you know, you've already done the diet, you've done the skincare, and you only want to focus on one thing. This video is all about intermittent fasting and how exactly you do it, all the health benefits, not just skin related. I kind of want to just talk about all of the benefits because there's so many. And I'm also going to give you like a schedule on kind of like how a typical day of my eating looks like, as well as just some tips that I've taken away from doing it and how to do it the healthy way. As always, I gotta throw in my disclaimer. I am by no means a professional in any sense of the word. I'm not a nutritionist, dietitian. I'm not here to give you health advice. I'm just sharing my personal experience, and I don't think everybody should be doing intermittent fasting. You should always talk to your doctor and do your own research and come to your own conclusion about if you want to give it a go or not. With that being said, let's get into what intermittent fasting is and how exactly you do it. First and foremost, intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's actually an eating style. I think because the word fasting is in the name, a lot of people get really alarmed and don't want to give it a go, because when you think about fasting, you think, okay, I have to go a long period without eating. And a couple years ago, that was me as well. I gotta be honest, I was really scared of it whenever I heard like one of my favorite fitness bloggers or someone on a podcast talk about it, and I was like, what are they doing? Like, how is this healthy? I am not trying this. But I kept seeing it over and over again, and I was like, okay, I'm finally gonna look into it. So intermittent fasting is a style of eating where you eat within a specific time period, such as 8 hours in the day, and then the other part of the day, such as the rest of the 16 hours, you are fasting, you are letting your body reboot and reset. You don't actually restrict what you're eating during this time, you just restrict the time frame in which you're eating. There are a ton of benefits of intermittent fasting, and I think that's what really intrigued me when I started doing my own research about this, is just how many facets of your health intermittent fasting can help, and not just the skin. Back at this time when I found intermittent fasting, I was definitely looking at all the ways I could heal my skin naturally, and intermittent fasting was one of those things that kept popping up and I kept seeing. So that's what really was like my motivator at the time, was just the skin benefits. But over time, I started realizing how many other health benefits intermittent fasting can have. So some of the main benefits of intermittent, it's gonna be hard to say. The more I say it, I feel like it's just gonna be a lost cause. Some of the benefits of intermittent fasting include increased energy, weight loss, muscle building, hormone balancing, decreased inflammation, lower cholesterol, and even increase your longevity. I swear there's more benefits than just that. So I highly recommend, if you're interested, to look more into it. I will also list some resources down below, like some podcasts that I've listened to that give a lot of really great information. I would say one of the most asked questions in my DMs from you guys about intermittent fasting is, how do you actually do it? And there's actually not just one way to intermittent fast, but to be honest, I feel like some of them are a lot more extreme than others. So I'm not really gonna talk about all of the ways you can intermittent fast. If you want to look into that, you can. But the only one I'm gonna be talking about and focusing on in this video is the time restrict method, because that's all I know, that's what I've done and has worked really well for me. So the time restrict method is, like I said, where you just restrict the time frame in which you eat. And I do this mostly every single day. It's just kind of like part of my daily routine. I don't really think about it anymore, but I do the 16 to 8 time restrict method. So that's when I eat during an 8-hour window throughout the day. And then the other 16 hours is when I fast. I know 16 hours seems like a really long time to not be eating, and it can be really daunting. But if you think about it, most of those hours, at least half of those hours is, you know, when you're sleeping. So you don't really think about it obviously then. So before I give a breakdown of what like my typical day of eating schedule looks like, I wanted to specifically talk about obviously the skin benefits that I've seen, because this is my skincare series and this is probably what most of you are interested in intermittent fasting for. So I think I started intermittent fasting, I started looking into it at least in the fall of 2018. And to be honest, it was definitely an adjustment for me, because I'm one of those people who I used to wake up really hungry. Like I had to eat the second I woke up. So for me, I had to start like slowly transitioning. So instead of waiting like the 11:30 to 12, I waited till around 10:30, because I could not wait any longer to eat. I would wake up and have some warm lemon water, or chug at least like 16 to 32 ounces of water like over that time period, just so that I was giving my body something. And honestly, that really did help. Like I feel like a lot of the times that we think we're hungry, we're actually just really dehydrated. So yeah, I started doing it slowly, and I gave myself kind of like that earlier window. So I would eat dinner on the earlier side during this time, but I also wasn't like super strict. Like if it wasn't like a full 16 hours, that was totally fine. I was just kind of like easing myself into it, which is like my way to go for everything. I know a lot of people who don't actually get hungry until around noon, 1 o'clock during the day anyway, so it's probably gonna be way easier for you. But I will say, after about the first week of doing this, it got way easier, and I started noticing that I wasn't waking up hungry. And I don't know if that's just because I started getting myself also on a schedule of drinking a lot more water during that time. And obviously water has amazing benefits for your skin as well, which is great. So for me, the skin benefits started showing at about the 2-week mark. That's when I really started noticing my skin. I didn't have any new breakouts, and I also like was getting rid of my cystic acne. And I didn't have like full cystic acne by any means, but I did have a few cystic blemishes, and I noticed those started going down significantly. To the point where I don't even know if I would consider them a cyst anymore. And I wasn't getting any new breakouts, which was like, mind-blowing for me. I know also around this time I was starting to incorporate some raw foods and drinking more water, which definitely helped. But I had also started doing those things a little bit beforehand, and it was definitely when I started intermittent fasting that I noticed like significantly the big, deep hormonal blemishes that I had gotten significantly better. Again, if this is the first video of my skin series that you're watching, I will link my video 2, which goes into just the diet changes that I made to clear my skin. So if you're interested in that and want to check that out after, I will link it down below. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I started obviously for the skin benefits, and I started seeing those really fast. So that can be an amazing motivator, obviously, to see those physical changes so quickly. But I've stuck with it because I feel so much better every day that I intermittent fast. Obviously there are days where I'm just like, I'm hungry, I'm hungover, I wake up, I want Taco Bell, like whatever, I will do that. I stuck with it because of just how it makes me feel. I feel so much more energized throughout the day. Energy levels are good, my skin's clear. I also feel like my brain's less foggy, like I'm more like focused and productive throughout the day, and I need to look more into that, but I do think there are some brain health benefits as well, which is really cool. But intermittent fasting helps with hormone regulation and increased insulin sensitivity, which I talked to my friend who's actually in med school about this probably like a year ago, and she showed me a graph that looks very similar to this, which I will include here. I'm a very visual learner and a visual person, so it helps me to see something like this. And she showed me this graph about like your insulin and how, you know, you don't want it to be constantly up. You want to give your body those breaks. So with intermittent fasting, you're giving your body those, you know, those breaks, but it's also helping your hormone regulation, which all, you know, it all ties back together. I feel like all of these videos and stuff that I'm learning, whether it be in that period repair manual book that I talked about or gut health and probiotic rich foods. Everything goes back to your gut. Your health just really truly goes back to your gut. Your health on the inside shows on the outside. And some people with intermittent fasting prefer to have just 2 big meals a day, which is totally fine. And then others have 3 smaller meals throughout the day. So it really depends on just like what works for you and your lifestyle. I kind of go back and forth. Some days I do the 2 big meals and then some days I will do 3, just kind of depends. I wanted to show you like what a typical day of my intermittent fasting looks like. I wake up around 8 a.m. and this is when I will drink a glass of warm lemon water. I'll also make black coffee and sometimes just regular ice water as well. I have a lot of beverages, but I love me some beverages. And that's all I will drink during this time. I won't eat anything right when I wake up. I kind of just like ease into my day. I really like the warm lemon water. It feels so good and soothing. And then around 11:30 is when I will eat my meal 1. And this typically is either a bowl of fruit with coconut yogurt or I will have a fruit smoothie. I like to have fruit in my first meal if I can. Fruit is really easily and quickly digestible. It doesn't always happen. Again, sometimes if I'm having 2 meals throughout the day, I will have something more satiating and bigger. And then around 2 p.m. is when I will have my second meal of the day, which typically is avocado toast. I will either have sourdough or something like a little English muffin, and I'll have some avocado, some tomato, always lemon. And then around like 6 to 7 is when I will be making my dinner. For dinner, I will have like all sorts of things. I do a lot of tray bakes, which are really fun. And then after I eat, which is no later than like 7 to 7:30 p.m., I won't eat until the next day. So my fast, I guess, technically begins after I eat my dinner. My dinner typically has like the most protein throughout the day. So I'm really full, like I'm so satiated, I'm good to go until the next day. Usually that's good and I'm good with that. Otherwise, sometimes I will have a cup of tea, which is totally fine. While you're fasting, you can have sparkling water, Topo Chico, squeeze a little lemon in there. I did that the other night and it was so good. That's so weird. I just got an email about teas. That was so weird. If you're new to intermittent fasting, I highly recommend easing your way into it. Start with 2 to 3 days a week, starting that first meal earlier in the day if you are someone like I was who get really hungry. But just being gentle on yourself and not getting too, you know, caught up in the time period. If you are hungry and you just like can't go the full 16 hours, break the fast. Like totally do you. It's fine. There are days that I can't stick with it, especially around my period. I'm getting like way hungrier, so I will do me. I've also read some interesting stuff about adding MCT oil or coconut oil into your coffee or tea in the morning, and that can really help hold you over during that period of fasting, especially if you are new to it. I don't know, like I haven't tried this, but a lot of people swear by it because MCTs, I guess, are like a different chemical compound than normal fat. So it's transferred into energy versus being stored in your body like regular fat. So look into that if you're someone who like needs a little substance in your coffee in the morning, or like something more than just coffee or water to hold you over. And I know I've said this a million times, but drinking water during this time can really help, and giving yourself kind of like that goal of like 16 ounces to 32 ounces, whatever you want, like during that period of fasting in the morning can really help you and make you feel more satiated and fuller longer, especially if your hunger is due to just being dehydrated in general. So focus on drinking a lot of water. It's always so good for you anyway. That is pretty much all I wanted to talk about for intermittent fasting. If you guys want me to do like a what I eat in a day intermittent fasting edition and see it in action, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I don't know, I'm a little wary about doing a what I eat in a day video anymore, just because the last one I did, it brings out people from all sorts of corners of the internet who just love to critique what you're eating, and no matter what you're eating. So I don't know if I'm gonna do one, but if enough of you want to see another what I eat in a day, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I will do it. We will see. Again, I am no doctor by any means, so I highly recommend, if you are interested in intermittent fasting and all the health benefits and everything, to do your own research, talk to your own doctor, and come to your own conclusion on if it will work for you in your lifestyle. But it's worked really well for me. My next video will be all about my skin supplements that I use and swear by, that have cleared my skin so much, and I can't wait to share that video with you, and some awesome supplements that have changed the game for me. So stay tuned, that will be up next week. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah!